Hi, first grade. Today for grammar, we are continuing our look at commas in a series. Now, remember that a commas in a series means I've written something out in a list and now I'm putting it into words in a sentence. And I need to put commas to separate those items that were in my list. So, let's go ahead and get started. Make sure that your name is on your paper. You're going to notice that this comma worksheet is actually two-sided. One side we are going to do together, and the other side I want you to practice putting the commas where they need to go. So for some of it, if you need an adult to read some of it to you, please make sure that you ask them because that's the only way they'll know that you need the help. Okay, let's look at number one. As you remember from yesterday, I like to underline the pieces that would have been in my list, the parts that are in my series. So let's take a look at what it says. We had apples, oranges, and grapes for snack. What do we have? We had apples, oranges, grapes. Those are the pieces that are in my series. Remember that a series is going to have a noun, and it can also be a verb, and then a comma in between. And then another noun or verb, and a comma in between. Then the word and in grapes. I'm not adding any more commas there. I'm not putting a comma after and. I'm not putting a comma after grapes because now I'm going to finish out what my sentence wanted me to know. Okay, number two. We had books, paper, and pencils on the table. We had books, paper, and pencils on the table. Those were the things in our list. Books, paper, pencils. So where do our commas go? Books, it's a noun, comma. Next piece in our list, paper, comma, and pencils. We had books, paper, and pencils on the table. Okay, this is finishing your sentence. I am not putting a comma in the back of pencils. Number three, the pizza had cheese, peppers, and ham. The pizza had cheese, peppers, and ham. Cheese, peppers, ham. That would have been my list of things that were on the pizza. Where are my commas going to go? Well, yep, after cheese. When we talk about peppers, after peppers, before the word and. Do I put a comma after and? No. Do I put a comma after ham? No. That was the end of our sentence. There's a period there. Number four, we saw Leah, Ella, and Grace at the game. We saw Leah, Ella, and Grace at the game. Who did we see? There was more than one person. There were three people we saw. We saw Leah, Ella, Grace. Where do the commas go? After Leah. So we talk about Leah, comma. Talk about Ella, comma, and Grace. My cat can run, jump, and hop. Maybe this is my kitty cat right here at the bottom, huh? My cat can run, jump, and hop. Now remember, I said it doesn't have to only be with nouns. Here, these are verbs. These are actions. These are things the cat can do. Run, jump, hop. Where are the commas going to go in the series? Run, comma, jump, comma, and hop. Okay? I want you to rewrite sentence number 5. Make sure that you use a capital letter where it belongs. Make sure that you have commas after run and jump. Make sure that there's a period after hop. All right, then we're going to actually flip to the back side. I told you that we were going to do one side together and you were going to do the other. Go to box row number 1. Two, 4, 5. Those are the 4 you're responsible for. Let's look at number 3. There are swings, slides, and bars at the park. Swings, slides, bars. It's in the middle of our sentence. Does it make any difference that my list is in the middle of my sentence? No. That my series is in the middle of the sentence? No. There are swings, so put a comma. Slides, comma, and bars. Okay? And then you now have 4 left to do. You are not required to write out the sentences after you find where the commas go in this series, but if you would like to, that would be amazing practice for you. When you're done with those problems, you're going to be done with commas. But since I have you here, I'm actually going to move right on to our worksheet on contractions. So, if you could please get out your contractions worksheet. We are going to talk about contractions again for just a minute. Today, what we are looking at is contractions again with the word not. Okay? And you'll remember that contractions are when you have 2 words like this, have not, 2 words, and we're going to smush it together. We're going to combine them together. We're going to get rid of some letters. We're going to do surgery and put an apostrophe and leave the end of the word alone. Okay? So, for the contractions, you leave your first word. Have. Now, I have to use the first letter, squish it in, get rid of the second letter. That's where the apostrophe needs to go. And add my T at the end. So the word is haven't. We have not had lunch yet. Aren't, haven't, weren't, isn't, hasn't. This isn't hasn't because that says have. So I need this, haven't, which is just what I wrote. You're going to write it on the line. He is not at home. You'll remember what I said. You're going to keep the first word. I'm keeping the first letter of the second word. I'm getting rid of the O in not. That's where I need to put my apostrophe. And I squish together the T at the end. He is not at home. He isn't at home. Okay. They are not going to the party. They are not going to the party. Keep R, squish the N over, get rid of the O and put an apostrophe and slide the T over. Aren't. They are not going to the party. They aren't going to the party. She has not been to my house. Keep the first word. Keep the first letter of the second word. Smush it next to the has. Get rid of the O and put an apostrophe, and then move over your T. So she has not been to my house. She hasn't been to my house. We were not at school today. Keep the first word. Keep the first letter of the second word. Get rid of the O and replace it with an apostrophe and slide the T over. Weren't. We were not at school today. We weren't at school today. Okay, we will continue to work with contractions. You will have a chance to work with them again next week, but just continue to work with them when you see them. Don't be afraid of them, because this will do it easier as we continue working. You can take this sheet, put a smiley on it, and then you can put this back into your Thursday folder.